DeSanto Propane is 4 generations strong as a trustworthy, family-owned business with unmatched customer service. Go online at DeSantoPropane.com for more info or call toll-free at 1-800-752-4574 today. Since 1937, the difference has been DeSanto Propane.
Hey, welcome to FLX Weekly here on Wednesday, April 2nd, 2025. I'm Jim Sinacropi, live inside the FingerLakes1.com studios. And it's Wine Wednesday here. Usually it's the last Wednesday of the month. We're doing it the first Wednesday of this month. And Katherine Chase, the executive director of Cayuga Lake Wine Trail, is back in studio. We have some samplings of food and wine that will be available at the Wine and Herb Weekend, 2 weekends coming up on April 25th through 27th and May 2nd through 4th on the wineries of the Cayuga Lake Wine Trail. So it'll be awesome to taste some wine as usually like we do on Wine Wednesday and have a snack. And the Wine and Herb Weekend is probably the premier event. It's like the first real new season spring event and very popular. It's over 2 weekends, 3 days. Friday through Sunday, both of those weekends coming up here at the end of April and the first weekend in May. But first, today's episode is brought to you by Cafe 19. Breakfast, lunch, pastries, celebratory cakes, pies, and catering, guaranteed fresh and always local at Cafe 19 in Seneca Falls. Also offering an assortment of beverages, including tea, coffee, and espresso drinks. Check out their full menus and order online, along with their weekly specials, at xixcafe.com. And also Auburn Auto Group. When it comes to selection and service after the sale, the Auburn Auto Group has been the premier destination for new and used car buyers for close to 40 years. Among the brands offered on Route 5 in Auburn include Chevrolet, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Honda, Toyota, and Subaru. Thanks to their wide range of makes and models, you'll be sure to find your new or used car at Auburn Auto Group. And you might want to rush in there before these tariffs on automobiles kick in. So because the cars on the lot weren't subject to the tariffs that are proposed and actually going to be announced this afternoon. But we're here to talk about wine and food and the first big event for the Cayuga Lake Wine Trail of the spring. Katherine, welcome back.
Thank you.
Wine and herb, it's the big one. I mean, they're all pretty big, but something about the early spring and wine and herb, I love cooking. I love using fresh herbs and the subtlety of tastes that you can achieve with different herbs along with pairing with wines. I mean, that's the type of stuff that gets me excited.
Yeah, and the bacon event is kind of surpassing this one, so to speak.
Yeah, everybody
This
likes
one is
bacon.
Such a different element. It's fresh.
Mm-hmm.
You get to take home the potted herb, a vegetable plant. So each winery is assigned something, and you take home that potted herb or plant, and they create a dish infused with that. So today we're tasting thyme and dill. They pair a wine with each of those as well. And then there's 10 different ones as well. So you can create your own little garden. So it's like a head start.
10 participating wineries, 10 different herbs. And we're talking about onion, chive, thyme, cilantro, bell pepper, oregano, parsley, basil, tomato, and marjoram, and dill.
Yep. And I realize that there are vegetables mixed in there, but it's hard to get 10 useful herbs. But tomatoes you use, peppers you use.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the participating wineries are Montezuma Winery, Swedish Hill, Knapp, Buttonwood Grove, Cayuga Ridge Estate, Thirsty Owl, Hosmer, Lucas, Americana, and 6 Mile Creek.
Yep.
So with any of these events, you get your ticket. It's a 3-day event. The ticket's good for all 3 days.
This
Not
one
for
is
all.
the first 3 day.
Yeah, there's 2 weekends. So if you get a ticket for the first weekend, it's not available for the second weekend,
Correct.
right? Okay, just wanted to
Yep.
clear that up. But
So you
once you
can
get your
spread it
ticket,
out
you
however
go.
you want.
Yeah, and you can go wherever you want. You can go multiple days. I know that Sunday tends to be a little less crowded, so you might have ability to have a little more one-on-one.
Yeah, it's a more casual day. You
Mm-hmm.
can enjoy yourself a little bit more. It's not as crowded, and there's certainly an element to the crowded day as well. It's more
Exciting.
vivacious. It's
Yeah.
more fun. Absolutely.
And you go to you go to one winery and you get what their herb and special preparation along with to pair with their wine, and then you go to another winery and onward.
And onward you
Tough to
go.
do all 10 in one day, but in a weekend you certainly can.
Absolutely. And what's fun is you can sometimes follow the same people at winery to winery, so you kind of make like event friends, which is really fun. I did the bacon event. We had our dog with us, and they keep recognizing the dog, and you see the same person, and you kind of make friends with those same people, which is really fun too.
The bacon event went well.
It went very well. It was sold out. We sold out about a week in advance, which was great. So get them next year as soon as we put them for sale, because it'll sell out again. So that one went well. This one's on track as well. So
I mentioned you go, you taste the special pairings that every winery's prepared, but you also leave with a potted plant,
Yeah,
an herb.
each winery.
Yeah. Yes.
So you can have all 10 to get your garden started early.
Yeah, very exciting. The springtime, very exciting. I mean, I know we had some good weather in March, I suppose, and now April's kind of like, but it's still early April, but
Yeah.
I get so excited because the best is ahead of us now. And by the time we get to the end for April 25th, when this kicks off, or the next weekend on Friday, May 2nd, should be perfect.
Should be.
Should be perfect.
I don't want to jinx it. We've had some snow in April and May before, but
Not this year.
the hopes are higher anyways by then.
So, what are we eating?
So our first stop of today's podcast will be at Swedish Hill Winery. Their herb was thyme. So she made a Tuscan chicken soup. And as a soup lover, you will appreciate this one. It is paired with Blue Water's Gewürztraminer. So remember, sip, eat, sip. I know you want to dive right into that bowl.
Sip first.
Sip first, yes.
Gewürztraminer.
It rhymes with girls are meaner, if that helps.
Gewürztraminer. Yeah, that makes it a lot easier.
Yep. So Gewürztraminer is a semi-dry. It has 2% residual sugar. There are floral notes. It's fruity and it's lightly spiced. So this one works really well. The thyme adds a savory herbal layer. It complements the delicate spice and floral notes in the wine.
Let's
So
try
it's
it.
cozy yet springy at the same time with the pairing.
All right, let's see what we got.
And the
here.
advantage to this is that the Tuesday night before the podcast, I get to have some of this stuff for dinner. So the soup we had for dinner, and it was so delightful. Actually, I had to hide a bowl in the fridge to make sure we saved enough for the podcast because it was so good.
Well, I got a healthy portion here.
You do.
And you can smell the thyme. It's like a elevated chicken soup.
Yes.
I see some cannoli beans in there.
There's cannoli beans, there's potatoes, there's carrots, there's spinach, and there's chicken. I just use a rotisserie chicken. I think it's easier. It's cheaper
Sure.
almost. I got a day-old chicken, so that made it even easier. I usually use the whole chicken, so it's more chickeny than the recipe calls for, but it's protein, so it's good.
Great, fresh, crisp wine.
This is really delightful. I'm not always a Gewürztraminer fan. Sometimes it's a little too spicy, but this is perfectly balanced.
Yeah, this is delicious soup. The chicken is great consistency and kind of pulled chicken, I guess you'd call it.
Yep. How do you think it pairs?
And then to pair it with the wine. Oh, I love it.
I forgot how good the soup was. even
Really
before
good.
that.
And the thyme is prevalent.
It is. It's
Which
not
is-
very much time either. It pairs really
delicious.
well. It's only a teaspoon of thyme in the recipe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's really, it stands out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I admit I used the jarred spice. I didn't use
Dried?
the jarred,
Yeah.
dried thyme, whatever. I didn't use fresh. I should have, but I did not. So it would probably be even more delightful if I had gone above and beyond and gotten fresh thyme.
It's delicious, and I love the way the chicken and thyme flavors pair with the Gewürztraminer.
Yep. Well done. It's a really well-balanced meal. We
Absolutely.
ate it with bread and butter as well.
Well,
and some leftover.
bread and butter is good with any soup, right?
Yeah.
So Swedish Hill
Swedish Hill.
will have the
Chicken soup
Tuscan chicken soup.
and a thyme plant for you.
Now I have a little device you can pull the thyme sprigs through a little
yeah.
hole,
Yep.
and it just pops off the leaves that I use.
I have one of those. I don't use it often, but I know exactly what you're talking
You know,
about.
I don't like using stuff like that. I just like doing it by hand. But with this, it actually is pretty efficient. So I've been using it when I use fresh thyme.
Yep.
But yeah, hi, great soup.
Yeah, I like this one too.
It's a good day for chicken soup today
It
too.
is. I know it's gonna perk up tomorrow, but today is a chicken soup type of day.
Gonna warm up, but maybe rain.
Okay.
April showers, you know what they
Yeah,
say.
yeah. Our next recipe is a little bit more fitting for tomorrow, I would say. It is 6 Mile Creek Vineyard. They were assigned dill as their herb. So they created an orzo pasta salad with dill and feta. It also has tomato and English cucumbers because that is less seedy than the other cucumber. So the original pairing is with Saval Blanc, but they are sold out of their 2023 and they are bottling 2024 next week.
Oh wow.
So that'll be fresh for the wine and herb participants. But for this case, we are substituting it with a semi-dry Riesling, which will pair very well.
I'm sorry. What was the winery that's the
6 Mile Creek.
6 Mile
Vineyard.
Creek? Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
in Ithaca. So this semi-dry Riesling, it has 2% residual sugar, same as the Gewürztraminer. It has a delicate floral aroma,
Oh, I like it.
melon.
I like it.
Good.
Very light.
Make me want to try
Sweet.
before I even finish.
It's a sweeter Riesling. Yeah, very light and sharp.
So this works with the orzo because the brightness of the dill and the lemon in the salad pairs with the crisp acidity and the soft fruit of the Riesling.
And a nice, cold salad, summer
Yes.
salad.
Yep.
All right, let's take a bite. Let's try to get
I did not try this one because the recipe says to let it refrigerate for at least 2 hours, but overnight is best. So I followed the is best instructions. So
very
you will
good.
be the first to try it and review it.
Very good. The crunchiness of the cucumbers and tomatoes, along with the savory flavor of the feta, and of course the rice or the orzo.
The orzo, yes.
Good.
It's good Riesling. It may be 2%, but it isn't overly sweet, the Riesling. But I also still have the Tuscan in my mouth to kind of balance it out.
Yeah, it's a great pairing.
That is really fresh.
Yeah, fantastic. Do the other wineries know what they're making yet? Do you have any reports on what other delicious treats you'll have along the trail?
First of all, that does pair excellently.
It really does.
Second of all, I have a whole list right here. So, Montezuma is doing a chive dip. So, obviously, they have chive. Napa's doing a zucchini soup with creme fraiche. Their herb is cilantro, so that is prevalent in the soup. Buttonwood Grove is doing, they were assigned bell pepper. They were doing Turkish Biber or Bieber salad, which is a Turkish bell pepper salad. And this year they've been on a very Asian streak, which I've been very into, and I've loved everything that they've put out so far. I like how they're going outside of the box and making different creations. It's been awesome. Cayuga Ridge is doing an olive oil bread dip. Thirsty Owls there is oregano, I think, but it has everything in it. So you can take all of the herbs. Thirsty Owl is doing a Marry Me chicken. Theirs is parsley. Hosmer is doing a peach, onion, and basil salad over pesto-infused whipped goat cheese.
I was wondering who had basil.
Yeah, they have basil.
So that sounds really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting, but I think it'll be neat. Yeah. Lucas has a caprese pasta salad, so they have tomato. And then I assigned marjoram to Americana, and he's making a fire-roasted tomato bruschetta with marjoram.
Very creative down there.
He's very creative. That's why I gave him marjoram.
He should have made a margarine fudge. It probably would have
He
come out
probably
good.
could have done it. Yes, he probably could have. So yeah, it's a nice, unique list. 10 really awesome herbs and vegetables that you can use. So
And
Yeah.
again, you get the potted plant. So for the past 5 years, I've been wanting to start an herb garden for myself. I just never
you
with
don't? I'm surprised. surprised.
I have a pool that's a high maintenance thing, and it seems like in the spring I'm always doing like so many tasks, and by the time I get around to remembering about the herb
Bloom it
garden,
on your pool.
yeah. But for basil, for example, that's just one potted plant that you're going to take with you
Yeah, you
from
snip
this
on it.
event. Yeah, you could. It will expand to the size of a small tree, and if you prune it correctly, and you'll have basil all summer, and then you save some for the fall. I know that one way.
You can do that too.
Yeah,
I mean, all of those can. You could do that with mint if you want to do mojitos.
mint, you gotta be careful
Oh,
because
really?
mint is like it'll take over. You'll have your entire yard will be mint. But if you do kind of keep it self-contained, it's great to grow your own mint for sure, and then you can save some of the herbs for the winter.
Yeah, some are pretty winter hardy.
But you can also some of them that you trim it like when the weather starts to change, you can actually freeze them in ice cubes
Yeah.
and keep them in the freezer, and then when you're ready to use them, it really works
Freeze
pretty
them in A
well.
little bit of broth. I've
Yeah.
seen that trick.
Yeah, and depending on what you
Yeah.
plan on using it for,
Butter.
so yeah, I know what
Butter with it.
I'm definitely gonna do the herb garden this summer.
Everything always sounds like a good idea.
Well, I always kick myself when I go to Wegmans or wherever and buy it over and over again because basil, like I like dill with salmon. I make a lot of salmon dishes with dill. Chives seem to go on the top of everything chopped up. Thyme is a staple. Cilantro with anything for me that's kind of Mexican.
Yeah, I buy a lot of cilantro. But chives comes back every year. It's a perennial.
Oh yeah.
You'd buy it one time and then have it forever and ever.
But basil is the one that I really can't get
I'm
enough
sure you
of.
use a lot of it.
I use as much as possible, more than you probably should. Whether it's like with Sunday Italian dinner, or with like I like to make kind of Asian like a faux type of dish sometimes, or some rice. But I always go heavy with the basil in those dishes, and then even stuff like this chicken soup with the thyme. Basil would go good in here too. But I'm going back to the first.
I just ate my bowl while you were talking.
Yep, I'm almost done.
It was really good. It's got some crushed red pepper. It was optional, but I chose to put it in. It was just half a teaspoon for the whole pot, but it was a perfect amount, I thought, to give it that little Tuscan kick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was good. I trust every soup that comes out of Swedish Hill.
Well, the wine and herb weekend is a great deal because
Absolutely.
you're gonna casually take your time to visit. You're not, like I say, you're not gonna visit 10 in one day, but you might visit 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna have to make plans to get something to eat or whatever, because you're just steadily gonna be enjoying these treats throughout the day. Save room in your car for the potted plants to bring home.
Your car's going to smell really good, too, with all the potted plants in there.
Yeah, it's a great amount. How many years is this one? Is this the original, the oldest?
31, I think.
Amazing.
Maybe 2. Holiday Shopping Spree is about as old. So they're the 2 originals at this point, yes. But it's one of the favorites amongst the wineries and the attendees. And I think it's just the element of spring, too, that gives it its favoritism. If the weather's great, like it should be, they can have it outside or they can open their doors, and it's just ideal time of the year.
Right. And then the whole good weather's ahead of us, which it's always
the hope of the
Yeah, it's like almost with anything. Like when you go on a vacation, it's almost the best time of the vacation is when you're leaving to go to the vacation, even though that's, but because of the anticipation of everything ahead of you. So this event, being this time of year, is fun. And it might be the first time that a lot of people are actually doing, a consistent, bouncing around the wine trails in good weather. Open all winter. We hit some wineries up in the winter.
Yeah.
And it's a nice way to kind of get out of the house in the cold weather, but there's nothing like, the wine trails in good weather.
Yeah.
Specifically, spring and fall for me are my favorites.
Yeah.
But so let's talk tickets. If you want to go, what do you
Yeah,
get?
so CayugaWineTrail.com, you can find the event tickets. It's 95 for a couple, 65 for a single, 45 for a DD. So a couple is a little less because you share a set of potted herbs, vegetable plants. You don't need two sets. Otherwise, a single you get your own set, and a DD you get your own set. And that includes all 10 wineries over the course of the 3 days for whichever weekend you choose.
Yeah, and you gotta, kind of plan it out. And you can start in any one. So if you live in the south end of the county, you can start at Americana. If you live up here in the north end of Seneca County or in Geneva or Auburn, you can start at Montezuma.
Unless it's sold out already, and then you have to start somewhere else. Because tickets have sold really well so far. We're over 50% sold out. And now that it's closer in April, they'll start selling really, really, really fast.
Yeah, it's pretty cool that you're able to sell these events out,
Yeah.
consistently.
Yep.
It just shows how, most of the people that are going, they live around here. Like, it's not a touristy thing, right?
Well, we pull a lot from like the Binghamton area, Syracuse, Rochester.
They come up specifically for the events. Now,
Yeah,
will they?
I pull a report and around the addresses that just so we can see how it's tracked. It's not as local as you'd think, to be honest with you. So it's like within that hour and a half drive time, and then down into Pennsylvania, like Scranton area.
Wow. Yeah, great.
Which isn't overly far. It's only 2.5 hours.
Do you think those people spend the night somewhere, like an Airbnb or?
Probably. Yeah, they probably stay, if I had to guess, in Ithaca.
I mean, that would be the way to do it.
Yeah. You
Because
can make a weekend of it.
right,
Yeah,
right.
like a girls' trip
That,
or guys' trip.
and that's the thing, with the wine trails. Across the entire Finger Lakes, there's so many wineries, and if you really want to see it and experience it all, it can't be one day.
No, and you got to come back too.
Yeah. Yep, which is good for us, right?
Yeah, good for us. We didn't do that on purpose. That's just how it is.
Yeah. Okay. How many wineries are there in the Finger Lakes now?
Right now, there's over
120?
130.
130.
Just in the Finger Lakes.
That doesn't count breweries or distilleries
That just counts wineries.
or cideries
Yeah.
or whatever else they're coming up with next.
Yeah.
Yeah, great stuff. And again, designated driver is a great way to go too.
Everything but
It's a
the
great
wine,
deal.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a good deal. So, and again, it's Montezuma, Swedish Hill, Knapp, Buttonwood Grove, Cayuga Ridge, Thirsty Owl, Hosmer, Lucas, Americana, 6 Mile Creek. When is any idea when like music's going to start at Buttonwood Grove and the other wineries are going to start some of their outdoor weekly events?
So Americana has started their Sunday afternoon music.
Mm-hmm.
Buttonwood, they start usually in the summer.
Like Memorial Day weekend, maybe.
Not helpful. I think more June.
Okay.
I think Hosmer, they start their music in Mimosa, so they'll do a Memorial Day or a Memorial Weekend Sunday, and then I think July is when they start their consistent Sunday music for the music in Mimosas. I wasn't prepared for this question.
Well, anyways, it's the reason I ask is just like
I think it's July and August for Buttonwood.
one of the real special things about living here and visiting here, I suppose. The experiences that people are looking for sometimes are just lawn chair, outside, live music, wine,
Yeah.
a couple snacks, and these wineries really hit the spot. I mean, it's like a Chamber of Commerce travel guide cover when you go out there, So again, and I'm excited because it's all starting. It's all starting the
Yeah,
summer
I'm
of
sure they're planning.
2025.
Yeah, I'm sure they're planning it and making their lineups and getting it in the works. If I had to guess.
So it's Wine and Herb Weekend. It's coming up end of the month, April 25th through 27th, and then again on May 2nd through 4th. But you really should go to CayugaLakeWineTrail.com and get your tickets now because this event does sell out. 10 participating wineries. You get a potted plant to bring home from every winery you visit, along with a sample of the herb that's featured at each winery and wine tasting. And of course, you're going to come home with a few bottles too, I'm sure. But It's a great event, a great way to spend the weekend. You don't need to do all 3 days. You don't even need to go 2 days. I mean, if you buy the ticket, you want to go at least 1 day, but 2 days is probably the way to do it. Kind of plan your weekend around it. You can hit up all 10 over 2 days with no problem. Maybe go south 1 day, north the next day. But it's a great event and reason to get excited for the upcoming summer here in the Finger Lakes. So, Katherine, thank you again for the impromptu lunch and the Wednesday morning wine drinking. And we'll see you next month. And what do you think we're going to do next month? Probably highlight the.
I don't know.
We're in full swing by then, probably in terms of like what's coming up.
Yeah, Wine and Herb mentally ends event season for me until the holidays. So I don't know what's in store for us.
Well, you just have to stay tuned. But anyways, thanks a lot for coming in and for the delicious orzo salad and Tuscan chicken soup. Just 2 of the items available at Wine and Herb Weekend coming up on April 25th and 27th and May 2nd through 4th on the Cayuga Lake Wine Trails. And thanks everybody for joining us. If you like the show, click like, share, and subscribe. We'll be back next week. Until then, have a great first weekend of April here in the Finger Lakes.